FlossTube, it's Stephanie, Miss Oh So Crafty. Welcome back. I know it's been a while. Today is April 17th. I meant to record 2 weekends ago, that first weekend in April, but it didn't happen. I was really busy, and then the weekend after that was the Mirabilia Minions Retreat, and then I had a cold, so here we are. I have a lot to talk about tonight. I will do a little recap of the retreat, and I have some whip progress to share. I have 2 FOs, recent finishes, and I have a lot of stitchy haul, and then I'm going to do a giveaway, FlossTube subscriber giveaway, FSG, and at the very end I will do a short segment on my knitting. So let's get started. My first whip that I want to share is The 12 Days of Christmas by Joan Elliott. This is my weekend project. I worked on this the first weekend in April. I will insert a picture of what it looked like before. So this time I did the gold metallic stitching in that second tier. You can see every red line is outlined with gold metallic as well. Clean up some of those part threads, sorry about that. And then I started backstitching from the top. I started backstitching with green. You can see that that's all the vines there, like in the border, connecting the holly leaves. And there's some of the text and numbers, like the French hen bit and the 2 over here, that's in green. And then I started working on the black. So the angel is backstitched in black. That one's not completely done. This one over here is done. The flower is done in black. And there's more to be done in black. And then there's some also to be done in red. So I didn't have a heck of a lot of time for stitching that first weekend in April, but I am happy with how far I got. Next time I will continue backstitching. I will do the black and the red. And I will get started on the next block, which will be here. It will be the 6 geese laying, and I'll work on this border, extending it downwards. So I will keep plugging away in hopes to finish it this year. Alright, my second whip is Siren and Shipwreck by Mirabilia. I will insert a picture of what it looked like before. This was my focus project for It's Not Easy Being Green on Stitch Mania, also Mirabilia March on Cross Stitch Finish Line. So I did work on her a lot, and now she is all ready for beads. So I stitched her skin and finished her hair, did her face, did the chandelier holder, and did the back stitching. There's a bit of back stitching on this piece. I took her to the retreat with me and found a color to put in her hair for the ornamentation. That is a Karen water lily called Wasabi, sort of a lightish yellow-green color. It was originally charted for this pale lavender water lily, and that just didn't look good against the red. This is stitched on 32 count hand-dyed Belfast, 32 count Belfast hand-dyed by Steph in the sea glass colorway. It's more green than it looks here, and I am really pleased with the way it came out with my red hair conversion and everything. She reminds me of the Little Mermaid Ariel swimming down to her grotto of treasures, in this case with the ship's chandelier that she found. So she's all ready for beads now, and I do have the bead pack. I will start beading her next month in Stitch Mania, and I hope to finish her, this year, but I'm not really in any serious rush. And then the other project I worked on at the retreat is Nora, Corbett, Blitzen. I will insert a photograph of what it looked like before. This is stitched on 32 count opalescent Belfast in the pewter colorway from Picture This Plus, and he is also ready for beads. So what I did this time at the retreat, I finished this corner here, the greenery, and I stitched his tail in whisper thread. that fluffy stuff. I've used that before, and I know the trick is to use very short lengths, but even so, my thread kept shredding and it took forever to stitch those small amount of stitches, so I'm glad to be done with that. And I have ordered the beads. I intend to start beading him during Mania, and I may even finish him in May. So I'm going to start Dancer, his brother, I suppose, if you will, during Mania. And I do want to finish both of the reindeer this year. So that's it for whips, and then I have a couple FOs to share. So for Mirabilia March, I wanted to crank out an FO, the Midsummer Night Fairy, which I started beading in January, and I finished her completely March 31st. Yay, happy dance! So this is stitched on 32 count opalescent Belfast. Do you see the sparkle a little bit? In the Royal Shimmer, there it is, in the Royal Shimmer colorway. This was hard to stitch on, being dark and sparkly, but it was completely worth it. I love the night sky effect. And I did have to switch out the back stitch colors a little bit because some of the colors as charted didn't show up on my fabric. The model was stitched on like a light gray, so I used a lighter blue in the wing extension, and I used lighter green tones for the foliage. And then I did the wand in Krennic because I thought it was pretty and it pops in the fabric. She has a ridiculous amount of beads. Towards the end, I was so frustrated. They wouldn't all fit on the fabric. I had to skip entire rows at some points. And at one point, eventually I just decided that I would attach them freestyle. So that worked out much better. This has to have at least a couple thousand beads on there. So I'll try to give you a close-up. So there's her face, her bead extensions, those orange like crystals. Those wings were a pain to stitch, lots of blending filament. But they are really delicate, ephemeral, just like real fairy wings might be, if fairies existed. Who says they don't? And then I love the lavender sash and trim on her dress. It really reminds me of the way, silk the color can vary depending on how the light hits it. And I'm very happy with this project. It's big, and feels great to have another Mira finish. She is my 7th. I am planning to stitch Titania to go with her. And I was planning on starting her this year. We'll see. I'm doing the year starts in Stitch Mania, so for me that means 16 starts, and I don't know, like the more I get into it, I'm not really feeling the serial start thing, so I may change my plans a little bit and make some of my starts into smaller pieces. So we'll just see how many things I finish and how much progress I make as the year goes on. And then I have one more FO to share. This is, I finished it on April 15th, and it's The Graduate by Sue Hillis. Small project. It's stitched on 32 count Jobelin in the Queen Anne's lace colorway, and it was a fun stitch, not too big. The most challenging part was probably on the diploma. Underneath diploma, it's stitched 1/1 in the accrue, and even that small bit took forever. 1/1 on 32 count is not really for me, so I admire all you folks who do it, for the skin. It looks beautiful, but for me, I'm just not sure that it's worth the time involved. So my favorite parts of this piece are all the detail in general. It's that the cap and the diploma and the books and everything are highly detailed. A little bit of gold blending filament for sparkle, and the tassel on the cap is done in blending filament, long stitches. I love the key charm on top of the books, Key of Knowledge, and the Lamp of Learning charm there at the bottom. It's personalized. Some of the information is covered, you know, to protect privacy. And the only modification I had to make was this square here at the bottom. I had to make it 1 stitch wider and 1 stitch taller in order to accommodate the Lamp of Learning charm, because the model was stitched on 28 count. I chose to stitch mine on 32 count because I saw this stitched up as a model at House T-Roll and I loved it, but I wasn't thrilled with the coverage. So on 32 count, I think the coverage is great. I am planning to frame this soon because my sister is graduating from college in about a month. So that's it for my FOs. And I think I'll talk a little bit about the retreat now. So it was in Cincinnati the second weekend in April, and I drove out there with a friend. It was a long drive. And then I shared a room with a bunch of people, which was a little crowded, but it was super fun. And the retreat was just a blast. It was super well organized, and there was a great, comfortable room for stitching in. It was really well lit. I forgot my hot light, but it didn't matter because the lighting was fine. And my only complaint was the weather, but I think it was just a cold snap. Here at home in the DC metro area, I hear it was like 29 degrees. It was a bit warmer than that in Cincinnati, but we got snow a few times while I was there. But the hotel was nice, and there was breakfast was provided, and there was a nightly happy hour with heavy hors d'oeuvres, which would suffice for dinner, and also everyone got 3 drink coupons for each night, so that was cool. And there was a really generous welcome bag from Leslie. Leslie is the owner of Under the Sea Fabrics, and she's the one who organized the retreat. And there were vendors there, including Leslie herself. She had like a mini L&S in the corner, which was pretty awesome, very convenient if you needed something. And we did a little shopping. We went to the Keepsakes L&S in Cincinnati, and I went to Hobby Lobby just because I wanted to see what they have. My closest Hobby Lobby is like a 45-50 minute drive, so there was one like 5 minutes from the hotel that I went to check out. And it was just a super fun weekend. Everyone was so nice. The piece that I stitched, the Happy Minion piece, I finished as a flat fold. Thank you, Vanna, the Twisted Stitcher, for your tutorial. It was great, although I kind of messed it up a little bit. You said to mount the needlework on mat board, and I used foam core. I didn't realize my mistake until the end, so it's a bit thick. It turned out a bit thicker than it should have been, but it still turned out nicely. And most importantly, the recipient of my mystery box was super pleased with it. When she opened it, she like ran around the room showing people and exclaiming over it, and that was very gratifying. Gina, if you're watching this, you were so sweet, and you just made my day when I saw how happy you were with the minions. So I'm really glad that I stitched that. And my mystery box was awesome. And if you're watching this, thank you. The stuff in there was awesome. I love everything. And I love the container that it was in. So the mystery box was definitely a highlight of the weekend. And then another highlight would be when we all donned our grass skirts and leis and flowers in the hair and did the group picture in the lobby. There were almost 80 people in attendance, and I didn't get to talk to everybody, but I did talk to a lot of people, met so many cool people, and I'm hoping to make it like an annual thing. So I loved it. Oh yeah, and then another highlight was that everybody brought their FOs to share. So I think Leslie said there were like 166 or something on display around the room. I brought 3 myself. I brought Midsummer Night Fairy, Petal Fairy, and the Mediterranean Mermaid. And it was just incredibly inspiring to see all those stitch pieces. At one point, I walked around the room and made a little wish list. Ooh, I love that fabric, or that pattern is really special, or whatever, you know. It was just really cool, and I love my roommates. There were 3 of us Stephanies, and Barbara and Coco, who were like honorary Stephanies. They were super fun, and everyone was just so friendly and welcoming. Stitchers are just wonderful people. If only we ruled the world, you know? So I guess that's about it for the retreat, and now I'll get into my stitchy haul. So I did do a no stash acquisition thing for Lent, and that worked out pretty well, but by the time Easter Sunday rolled around, I was pretty desperate. So I was on Facebook that night, and I saw in Stash Unload these magazine charts, and they were very reasonable, and I had to buy a few. So here is Horn of Plenty by Sharon Pope. This is from Just Cross Stitch, September-October 2012. I think I saw this on Katie the Stash Queen's channel. She might have this as a whip or something, but I love this. I think it's just beautiful for Thanksgiving. And then this one, Victorian Christmas. 2 cute children with a snowman. Nice border. This was Sandy Orton, a Cooler Design Studio. I love Victorian stuff, and this is just a really sweet design, in my opinion. And then Vintage Easter Chicks by Angela Pullen Atherton. And I thought this was just really cute for Easter with the chicks and everything. I want to stitch more like holiday stuff. So, and then this one, oh, sorry. So the Victorian one, Christmas one, was Just Cross Stitch, November, December 2012. And the Vintage Easter Chicks was Just Cross Stitch, March, April 2013. And then the Spring Floral Cross. This is by Linda Gillum of Kohler Design Studio. And this is also from March, April 2013. I just love this. I think it's so pretty and perfect for Easter. So beautiful. And then I also went on eBay and I found a good deal on some Mill Hill button and bead Christmas Village kits, and I need 12 of these. I'm going to stitch them all together on one piece of fabric next year with my friend Christine, and these were like $10 each with free shipping, so I snapped them up. This is St. Nicholas Cathedral, and here is Snow Day, Village Bakery. Cute little gingerbread charm on that one. And Skating Pond. So that's 5 kits. I need 7 more. And I did buy a piece of fabric to stitch them on. We'll get to that in a bit. So like a week after Easter, I had a birthday, and my sweet husband gave me some patterns in addition to giving me a gift card for 123 Stitch on top of another gift card for that same store that he gave me for Valentine's Day, and I didn't spend at the time because I'd given up stash for Lent. So, but we'll get into the patterns. So here is Rainbow Unicorn by Imaginating. I just love this. It's unabashedly girly, and it's not my usual style, but there's just something about it. I don't know, maybe it reminds me of My Little Pony, which was one of my faves when I was a kid. And this is Ink Circles Baroque. My friend Christine is stitching this. It's done in Gloriana Northern Lights. Absolutely gorgeous blue silk thread, and I think this would look amazing in my kitchen. I have a blue pearl countertop, so I love it. And then 2 Mirabilias, or Nora Corbett's rather. This is Gigi from the Bewitching Pixies. And here is Anna from the same collection. So I'm planning to stitch these two together on one piece of fabric, like such, facing, like they're walking towards each other. And, okay, so I also got some old cross-stitch collection magazines. Some specific patterns I was after. Sorry about that. So this is cross-stitch collection number 169. I'm not going to show every pattern, just the ones I flagged as, you know, particularly special. So this is the Rainbow Flower by Maria Diaz. This is the reason I bought the magazine. Love that. Irises are my favorite flower. And then this is Bird Watching by Anchor. I think that's really cool. I love the binoculars and the book with the nest. Really nice design. And here is Joan Elliott's Golden Buddha. Really pretty Buddha design. And here is All the Fun of the Fair by Kevin Walsh for DMC. This one has a nice vintage flair to it, and it's highly detailed. Looks like it'd be a lot of fun to stitch. And then I have Britain's #1 Cross Stitcher, issue 204. Here's the first one that caught my eye. Winnie the Pooh bearing gifts. My son is a big fan of Winnie the Pooh. I thought this was cute. And it came with a mat. And then the Christmas Countdown by Joan Elliott. This is like a advent calendar type thing. Little pillows that can be, they're embellished with beads and stuff. Very sparkly, and you could use them as ornaments. I already have an advent calendar or something I sewed together. It's like a quilted thing, and I probably won't be stitching those, but they're really pretty nonetheless. And then the last piece I wanted to show you is the Scarlet Statement. This is by Maria Diaz, a poppy with some beads there in the center. So it's similar to that iris design, and this is part of a series. I just love these, the close-up detail and everything. I'm thinking about, and the way they're finished, like simulation of like a stretch canvas. I might stitch these for my bedroom, maybe next year. And then this is Cross Stitching Country Crafts, March, April 1995. I bought it for this cover design, the bunnies. I actually saw this with the color conversion. The eggs were done in very like bright, almost like psychedelic colors, and it looked awesome. The pattern is by Barbara Sestock, and they show you how you can take out a bunny and do it separately or whatever. So the bunnies are really detailed. And then I have Cross Stitch Collection number 229, Christmas 2013. This one has The Winter Robin by Leslie Tier. This is one of a series of 4. I had 2 from my previous magazine stash, and I wanted the 2 more for the complete set. And here is the Edwardian Christmas, part 2 of 3 by Sandy Littlejohn and Deb Lester. Beautiful design. Here is Joan Elliott's Angel of Joy. I've already done a Joan Elliott Christmas Angel, so I don't know if I'll ever get around to this one, but never say never. She is really pretty. And then I thought this was cute. Reindeer Games by Lucy Heaton. There are 3 additional poses of Rudolph, which I can't show you because they're just presented in chart form, but I think they're really cute. Either finish as cards, or you could do them all together as like a bell pull or something. And then have Cross Stitch Collection. This is my last magazine. 226. Here is the Summer Ideal by Maria Diaz. Really pretty summer cottage. And then here's the Foraging Wren. So this is the autumn version of that bird design. That was by Leslie Tier. Here is Vintage Poppies, also by Leslie Tier. Really pretty. And then finally this Goodnight Owls by Vanessa Wells. When I was initially leafing through this magazine, my son saw this and he got really excited. He was just pointing at it and saying, "Mama, Mama." So I might stitch it for him. I think it's really cute. Oh, here's another Mill Hill Buttons and Beads kit. I missed this one. Sorry, this is Queen Anne's House. Alright, and then moving into my stash from the retreat. So I got a few things at Keepsakes L&S. Here is the Magic Reindeer by Alessandra Adelaide. Really pretty. 'Twas the Night by Sue Hillis. And something I got actually at the retreat from, I guess it was just like a gift from Nora or Leslie or whatever. Everybody got one. This is the Leilani Hula Dancer. And they had a model at the retreat, so it was really cool to see it stitched up. This one actually came with an embellishment pack, so there's beads and there's silk threads too. And now I will share a few fibers, more stuff from the retreat. So here's a couple things from the mystery box. This is crystals, little Zillion bicones. So these are cool because you could use them in pretty much anything for some sparkle. Sorry for the glare, having a hard time with that. There we go. Yeah, they're really nice. And this is a holiday pin, the Indigo Angel. This is really cute. I would probably finish it as an ornament for the tree. And some more stuff from the mystery box. So there are these, I opened up these 3 water lily threads. This is Blueberry. I've used this one before in Siren and it is absolutely gorgeous. Here is Sapphire. Really pretty blues. And this one is Plum. So it's almost spooky how these colors turned out to be some of my faves, but I'm really happy with them. And then I bought a few water lilies of my own, looking for something to use in Siren's hair. I bought this one first, Jade, and it didn't work out. It was too close to the fabric color, so I ripped it and redid it with this, Wasabi, which color's not coming up. It's a warmer, more yellow color. I mean, it's definitely green, but it's more of a warmer yellow green in real life. And this was in the welcome bag, Fireworks, in this pretty like turquoise color by Rainbow Gallery. Really cool. It's flat like a ribbon, so it says you can use it for cross stitch. Try it out. Very sparkly. And this was also in the welcome bag. It's a Gloriana limited edition and sort of a flesh tone almost, and another Gloriana in a dark red color, bright red. And I got some fabric. So from the Keepsakes L&S, well, from Leslie directly, I got this. This is 32 count Lugana in the NYX colorway. Nice variegated gray. I'm planning to stitch the 2 witches, Anna and Gigi, on here. And I got another one of Leslie's fabrics from Keepsakes. This is Hurricane Opal 32. It looks like Belfast, I think. Really pretty, like sparkly green and purple. I'm going to stitch the August Peridot Fairy on there. And then after I came home from the retreat, I decided to use one of my gift cards for 123 Stitch. I ordered a fat quarter of Vintage Country Mocha 28 Cashel. Planning to use this for the Celtic Autumn, which I will start in May as part of Mania. And then I got this absolutely huge piece of 28 count Stormy Gray Jobelin 26 by 36. I'm going to use this for the Mill Hill Village series, and I will have more left over. I'm thinking about doing like a Halloween bell pull or something on that. So I guess that's it for my fabric, and now I'll get into the FSG FlossTube subscriber giveaway. The rules for the giveaway are that you must be a subscriber and you must leave a comment on the post stating which of the prizes that you're interested in. You can ask for all three, however, the maximum amount of prizes any one person will win is one, and I will mail them anywhere in the world. If you're under 18, you must have a parent or guardian contact me stating that their permission is granted for me to mail you something. So the first prize is this Mill Hill kit from the Spring Bouquet collection, Sail Away. It's a pin, but it could be finished as an ornament, and it comes with that sparkly little star charm, blue star. And these things, they turn out, the photos don't do them justice. They're just so pretty and sparkly in real life. The second prize is some silk thread. So this is Gloriana in the Antique Gold Dark colorway, and this is Thread Gatherer Silken Colors in Turkey Feathers, like reds and oranges, browns, and greens. These two I bought for my Love with a Capital L project. They didn't work out, so I have used a tiny bit of each, but just for testing, so like 95 or 99% of the skein is there, whatever. And these are really pretty fall colors, if that's your thing. And then the third prize is this Mirabilia pattern, Mermaids of the Deep Blue. This one I stitched many, many years ago, and I worked from a copy, so the pattern is in good condition. The only thing is I made a few notes next to the beads of what colors I used to attach them. But this is a gorgeous pattern. Tons of beads on there. Lots of fun to stitch and seriously sparkly when it's done. So those are the prizes. I hope lots of people enter. Good luck. Your last date to enter will be April 29th, and then on April 30th I will do another video. I will do random drawing to determine the prize winners. And also on that April 30th video, I should have some progress to share. Hopefully I will have progress on my Love with a Capital L project. I did start working on it this weekend, and then I just had to frog and set it aside. Got very frustrated, so I'll try again next weekend. Also, I've started working on my Maiden and Unicorn project, which I rescued from the UFO pile. Last touched it in 2007, and I'm really glad that I picked it up because it's much easier to do now with more experience, all the fractionals and everything. And at that point, I'll also talk about my plans for Stitch Mania. So that's it for my stitching. If that's what you came for, thanks for watching, and I will see you again April 30th. Otherwise, if you're interested in my knitting, I will do a short segment. I'm going to share the sweater that I'm wearing right now. It's the Apres Surf Hoodie by Connie Chang Chinchio, published in the, let's see my note, in Interweave Knits Summer 2008. So here's the back. And it's knit in RYC Cash Cotton 4-ply in the Peppermint colorway. It's a fingering weight yarn, Made of cotton, nylon, angora, and cashmere. It's soft and cushy. Not your typical cotton feel. It's discontinued, but it's really lovely. If you ever see any on like a D-stash, snap it up. And what else? I use like 1,430 yards of it. The sweater is knit on US 3s, and then trims for the 2s for the trims and the hood. I started this in 2013 on a transatlantic flight, and I stitched most of it on the trip, but then I came home and got pregnant, and I had no desire to knit for my expanding prego self, plus I had pregnancy-induced carpal tunnel, which knitting aggravated, so I brought it out again last year in 2015 and finished one piece of it and the hood, and then I did all the edges. The edges are done with applied I-cord, which is a painstaking process, but it does create a nice edge, sort of like a rolling edge, but not like uncontrolled rolling. This could probably use a additional block, but I do really love this piece. It's lightweight, but it's warm and it's super soft. It's got a little bit of a halo from the angora, warmth from the cashmere, and it's held up pretty well. Sort of minor pilling, and you don't really notice the pills too much because it is kind of has that, you know, fuzzy finish to it. As for mods, I did short rows on the hood, probably made it a bit shorter, I think, and then did a graph to join the two halves because I wanted the inside to be nice and smooth. And what else? Oh yeah, it's knit in the second size, I think 35 or so inch bust size. I did not do short row shaping on this because of the all over lace pattern, but it fits. I mean, it fits pretty well now that I've stopped nursing, so it's cool. And yeah, I do really love it. So the color is nice for spring and summer, sort of a light minty green. It is my last finished sweater project. I have one that's in the seaming stages, but I started seaming it like 6 months ago, so no promises there. In any case, it is more of like a winter sweater, so maybe I'll try to finish it for the fall. And that's it for my knitting, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a few weeks. Happy stitching. Bye!